it's not one solution which fits all our problems. So in the background, there are many different technologies which actually enables this concept of cloud computing. So there are many different building blocks. And now we are already familiar with these building blocks like broadband network, for example, या जो हमारे पास data center की technology है. And there is one core technology which enables cloud computing is virtualization. Similarly, there is web technology, multi-tenant architecture and service-oriented architecture. But in this video, जो हमारा focus है वो basically virtualization की technology पे है. Now, the way virtualization works is actually the engine of cloud computing. जितने भी हमारे पास cloud में resources होते हैं जिनको हम IT resource बोलते हैं, we never get access to a physical IT resource, but we always get access to a virtualized IT resource. Now, what does it mean? इस lecture में हम इसी चीज़ को cover करेंगे कि ये virtualized IT resource क्या होता है, and the core idea of virtualization, that is converting one physical machine to many physical virtual machines. ये basically कैसे काम करता है. So let's dig into the detail of this, and let's start with our virtualization topic. Now, suppose you have this complex hardware. So this complex hardware can be your storage. This can be, for example, some kind of networking. This can be some kind of computation power, and all this hardware, it's a complex, diverse hardware. Now remember, cloud computing is distributed and support heterogeneous environment. So we have this complex hardware. Now, to access this hardware, what we do, we apply a layer, abstraction layer. Abstraction layer किस लिए apply करेंगे कि ये complexity जो उनसी है वो hide हो जाए. Why do we want to hide this complexity? Because if we are given access to these raw resources, it will be very difficult for us to use these resources. So to make things easy, a user or application is provided with a simplified view, and that simplified view actually using the abstraction hides all these complexity of the underlying hardware. Now let's take an example from our everyday life. If you are driving a car, so whenever we press an accelerator, we don't think about in the background कि engine क्या करता है, pistons क्या करते हैं. When we have pedal shifts, हम ये नहीं सोचते कि gears कैसे काम करते हैं. We are given the simplified view, and the complexity is hidden from us. So we do the same thing here in computer science, in computing domain. And one of the classic example, वो हमारे पास जो उनसे है वो virtual memory की है. Now we are already using this virtual memory concept. The way it works is very simple. So imagine करें कि आपके पास main memory है, and you are loading applications, or application load होके the first block, and then the second block, and then the third block, and then the fourth block. So after some time, all the blocks in your memory are filled. Now आपने कभी नोट किया है कि कभी भी आपका ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम आपको ये मैसेज नहीं देता कि there is no more space in your main memory, right? You can load as many application as you want. Now on the other side, अगर हम हार्ड डिस्क की बात करते हैं तो हार्ड डिस्क में हमारे पास ये सहूलत मौजूद नहीं होती है. हार्ड डिस्क में अगर आप डेटा अपलोड करते जाते हैं, आफ्टर सम टाइम वी विल गेट दिस मैसेज कि देयर इज नो मोर स्पेस इन आवर हार्ड ड्राइव. So what happens in the background when our RAM is filled, when you load many applications, we take space from our hard disk, and what we do, we swap these blocks from the hard disk with the blocks from the main memory, right? So this swapping of the blocks between main memory and your secondary storage, this enables कि आप जितनी भी applications को load करना चाहें तो आप उसको load कर सकते हैं. So the complexity of the swapping, the complexity of actually this being a hard disk and this being a physical memory, ये सारे के सारे जो उनसे हैं virtual memory operating system इसको hide कर देता है. So application thinks that there is much more RAM available. So maybe application think there is a 16 GB RAM, but in reality the physical RAM is 8 GB only. Right? So this is the classic example of virtualization, where the complexity of the underlying hardware is hidden by the operating system. Now this virtualization is everywhere actually. So when we think about storage, last lecture में हमने बात किया तो वहाँ पे हमने storage area networks की बात की, right? वहाँ पे हमने RAID technology की बात की. Similarly, virtual private networks, virtual local area networks, virtual private group, all of them are the example जहाँ पे हम networking को जो उनसे है क्या कर रहे हैं, virtualize कर रहे हैं. But one of the most important कोर टेक्नोलॉजी जो वर्चुअलाइजेशन की है वो हमारे पास क्या है, सर्वर्स हैं, जिनको हम बोलते हैं वर्चुअल सर्वर. सो व्हाट वी डू इन दिस server virtualization, we change one physical machine into many different virtual machine. And this is actually the heart of cloud computing. So